Basically, I want to welcome everyone today to Thriving Empire Live, the show where we talk about the realities of living and working on your own terms. I'm your host, Stephanie Holland, and the creator of thefreedomphilosophy.com, which is a mindset and lifestyle guide that helps you cultivate the core fiber of an entrepreneur so that you can stay in the game until you get the results you're looking for. Now, in this season, we're talking about content marketing, because one of the realities of living and working for yourself is the business building aspects of starting a business. And one of the most diverse, confusing, and effective is marketing. And one aspect of that is content marketing, which seems to be the aspect of marketing that people speak most about. So this episode is all about your content marketing strategy and the 8 questions that are going to kickstart a strategy that's completely unique to you. So, we've already established in the first 2 episodes that content marketing is one of the most effective forms of marketing. It can help you build a relationship between your audience and your brand. It can help you transform your audience into paying customers. And it basically leverages one of the most coveted forms of marketing since the dawn of time, which is word of mouth, which we call in the marketing industry WOM or WOM, okay? I don't know who makes this stuff up. It sounds really silly, but word of mouth basically. And building a tribe of brand ambassadors through word of mouth is the holy grail of marketing in general. So listen, if you haven't read or watched the first 2 episodes of my content marketing series, go back and do this after the show, because this episode assumes that you already know what content marketing is and exactly how it can help you achieve your business goals. Because first of all, most people dive straight into the format of their content, which is an absolute no-no, because before you start thinking about whether you do a blog or a show or a Facebook Live or a podcast, you've first got to nail your content marketing strategy, okay? It's the cake under the icing. And I know a lot of people eat icing by itself, but most people just don't do that. You need the cake first. So your content marketing strategy is the official guideline for your content marketing. It keeps you aligned with your business vision, your strategy, your plans, and your goals. Because let's face it, you're going to read thousands of blog posts. You're going to watch thousands of videos and thousands of webinar tutorials to the point, where you're getting all these different ideas, to the point where your marketing efforts become a scattergun approach. And that's when you get spread really thin, you're working 24/7, and you're going to burn out really quickly. Now, you're not supposed to be throwing things at the wall willy-nilly, okay? This is not like cooking spaghetti. You're not throwing things at the wall and hoping that it will stick. It takes time and energy to create each and every piece of content, so it may as well be completely aligned with your bigger picture vision that you have for the profit and the impact that you want to make. Otherwise, honestly, what's the point? You may as well take the day off and quit your business permanently. So your content marketing strategy is going to help you stay aligned with your business vision and mission. It's going to help you in the process of writing it, of creating it. It's going to help you uncover the flaws and holes you have in your business strategy. And it's going to make it easy to hand over this function of your business to a team as your business grows. So here are the 8 questions that form the backbone of your content marketing strategy. Who are you creating it for? Who are you creating it for? What specific problems do you want your content to solve? What specific problems do you want your content to solve? What differentiates you from others in your category or niche? What differentiates you from others in your category or niche? What format will help you achieve your content goals? See, that's question number 4. What format will help you achieve your content goals? Where will you publish it? Okay, where are you going to publish it? How will you create, produce, and publish the content and manage the whole process? So that's all to do with your process, your systems, and your workflow. Number 7 is how will you leverage the concept of iteration to explode the scope and scale of your content? And the final question is, and actually one I've recently added to my own content marketing strategy, how will you remove the threat of irrelevance and keep your content updated so that it keeps serving you and your business goals? So we're going to jump into this in a little bit more detail, and I'm going to add some examples of how I do this for my own business so that I can show you how these questions have helped me build my own content marketing strategy. So the first question again was, who are you creating it for? Now, this is where you get to test the robustness of your business strategy, because by the time you come to formalizing your content marketing strategy, it assumes sometimes wrongly assumes, that you have an in-depth understanding of your target audience. Now, your target audience, these are the people who are going to benefit most from what you have to offer. Okay, these are the people you make it for, create it for, and these are the people you yearn to make your ardent brand ambassadors and spread the word for you. So they should be at the epicenter of everything you do, your business strategy, your marketing strategy, your content strategy, your communication strategy, your web strategy, every single strategy in your business. Your people, your audience are at the epicenter of every single strategy. So what exactly do you need to know about them then? Well, everything as it relates to your category and your product in a way that enables you to literally design your products and your business around them. So before I launch every project, whether it's a book or my membership classroom, I ask at least 20 people in my target audience a series of questions that helps me develop a matrix of the following points: their hopes and dreams, their problems, and their pain points about the specific issue that I'm trying to help them solve, their fantasy solutions. So I ask them to complete a sentence, if only there were a ... that would solve their pain or fulfill their fantasy. And then what I do as a process of the conversation with them, I notice their analogies, their metaphors and similes, because this gives me a much better idea and much more detailed clues about how they really feel about starting up and living and working on their own terms, and how they're affected by this on a day-to-day basis on a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual level, because those are all the levels I like to help people at beyond the strategy and beyond the consulting and coaching. For me, one of my passions is lifestyle and living your perfect life regardless of commercial success. So the way that I collect all this information from them is I just host casual Facebook conversations on Facebook Messenger, and I just copy the conversation over into a Google Doc, and I divide it into those 4 categories literally by copy pasting. And then this becomes my ultimate reference guide for my website coffee, coffee too. For my website copy, my communications, my product and service creation, my list building strategies, and my marketing and advertising strategies. So I actually never have to wonder or guess or do any more research than that, really, because I keep it updated on a yearly basis, whether it's talking to the same 20 people again or a new set of 20 people, because I've changed, what I do change, my business goals have changed. So there you have it. That's my answer to question number 1. So question number 2 is, what specific problems do you want your content to solve? So when you have a really in-depth and compassionate understanding of your audience, you're going to instantly know which pain points, challenges, and problems and issues you can solve for them with your content. You can choose one pillar problem, like for example, this content marketing series is a pillar problem, how to do content marketing for beginners, or focus on several clusters of problems. Now, of course, your pillars and clusters might change over time as your business changes, but that's fine. Everything's going to evolve. Your business is going to evolve and your content's going to evolve as well. And you're just going to edit and delete and change and restructure and recalibrate your content marketing strategy as you go. Hopefully it's not too often, because you do need to put things out there and see how they sit and see what your audience does with it for a couple of months. But basically, when I first started, my ideal customers were corporate misfits. So these were people stuck in the 9-to-5 with a soul deep impulse for change. But they had no exact idea of exactly what they wanted to do. This was me back in 2009. This was where I was. So I wanted to help those people who were having those similar challenges that I was having, where I couldn't find a community of people to talk to about it, and I didn't have the language or vernacular to discuss what I was really feeling. So it was really hard to kind of move forward. So those were the people I was really passionate about helping. So my content focused on how to help them discover and articulate their passion, purpose, and vision, how to help them create more balance and freedom in their life right now without having to quit their job and start a business, but also how to start up on the side and sort of start thinking about validating their ideas and whether it was something that they could turn into a sustainable business model. But as me and my business evolved, I started to focus on solo entrepreneurs. So these are like one-person businesses, within 3 years of starting up, where they've got to the point where the novelty of starting up has kind of ended, and they're now working 24/7, they're burnt out, they're broke, and they're effing over it. So then my content was focusing on how to help them live and work on their own terms. So not be an employee in their own business, but to be the leader and the visionary of their own ideas. How to help them shift their balance between life and work and get something that really helped them physically, mentally, emotionally stay really balanced and healthy. And also how to help them directly, specifically focus on their physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health as a priority, as a foundation for their business growth. So now that I've come back full circle to consulting, my content is now focused on gaining trust and credibility within the startup community and small business. So that's why I'm producing a content series like this. It's trying to establish me as an expert in the field, to convey that I can simplify complex ideas like content marketing, that I'm an expert in the subject. But I'm also keen to continue with my show, my live show, hopefully when my bandwidth is working really well. Thank you today, Telstra. You've only kicked me out twice. And also my FB live show where the other side of the show, where I interview startups and unearth the realities of living and working on your own terms from other people's perspectives. So that's how I figured out what problems I wanted to solve. I focused on my target audience and I created content to specifically help them with their pains, their challenges, and their fantasies. So question number 3 in your content marketing strategy is, what differentiates you from others in your category or niche? Now, when you know what problems you're solving for your target audience because you know them so well, you also know that there are thousands of other people doing exactly what you do. So how do you differentiate yourself? So this comes back to, how you and your brand are unique. And a good way to determine this is to do something online called the Strengths Finder test. It's a small fee, I think it's around $27, and it will tell you what your core strengths are and help you understand how you are unique and how what you do and the way you do it can be used to give you a unique value proposition versus your competition. There's also the Fascination at Advantage test. I'll put the links to both of these two in the show notes, which is also really brilliant. So it shows how you best fascinate other people. So again, it kind of leverages your natural strengths, which maybe you don't know yet. And when you know them, you can leverage them. So for example, I lead by innovation and mystique. I'm not, out there and in your face. Well, I might be more in your face now that I'm doing live video, but traditionally I've been the wallflower in a business. I'm very shy. I like to be in the background. I'm the strategic planner. I'm the one who keeps everything ticking along. I'm like the little duck with the feet in the water, the feet of the duck. I'm the one who's kind of behind the scenes, the kind of engine of something. So yeah, that's kind of how I was able to articulate what my core strengths and my fascination advantage was. But also a wonderful way to do this is to ask 20 people that you know, so that they can be friends, your parents, your siblings, your colleagues, and just acquaintances. Ask them, what are your 3 best qualities? I love this question so much. I do this all the time. I tell all my clients to do this. And it's because you get the most amazing responses, and you'll also start to see, first of all, the language with which people describe you, how they naturally see you in terms of your highest skills and qualities, and threads, because you will be the world will perceive you in a certain way, and this is always really interesting and fantastic. I got this question from Marie Forleo. I'm a member of B School, and this was one of the questions in the curriculum, and it's just amazing and brilliant. So this is important because learning to express your content in your unique voice, tone, and style takes time. I'm still learning. I'm finding the best way to express my personality and my values and beliefs are to actually get live on video, but that's taken me about 10 years to work up to the confidence to do that. So it's been a learning curve, but I'm really enjoying it now. And now that I know exactly what my skills and qualities are, I'm able to leverage them much more fully on video as well. So it's all about simply being open to express yourself in your own words. Be yourself on video, or just confidently stream live on Instagram. and it will immediately help you and your brand to stand out. So writing has always been a bit clunky for me. Like even my parents describe me as a writer because I've written 2 books. But when it came to recording video for my online classroom, that's when I feel like I really found my medium. So you've got to experiment a lot with lots of different platforms, lots of different formats. And when you feel like a natural synergy with a certain format or platform, that's when you've hit your sweet spot. So just remember, people buy from people and people that they like. So the way that the platform that enables you best to express your personality is going to be the way that you connect with them. So my favorites in the world for doing this are Marie Forleo. She's always dancing and singing on her TV show, yet she's always really compassionate and soulful. I also love the Dollar Shave Club. I mentioned them in episode 2. They do hilarious, irreverent spoofs of cheesy US infomercials, and they're always having fun. And also Virgin America, massive brand, but they've still got this really strong startup curiosity and playfulness. They use content as a strategic asset right across their business. And in fact, they're content kings, right? So they're playful and cheeky right across the board, across every piece of content, right down to their pre-flight announcements and the pre-flight video. So I like some of them. They're very Glee, the way that they do their little dance spoofs. I don't know. I think they're awesome. So question 4 was, what format will help you achieve your content goals? Now, so when you know what makes you unique, then you can start getting into the nitty-gritty of it, okay, the production. So there's really no end to what kind of format your content can take. That's only really limited to your imagination. If you can think of it, you can produce it. Okay, so like I mentioned above, it's got to align with your natural gifts and talents if you're going to produce it consistently and joyfully. Because if you enjoy doing it, then the people who are watching it are going to feel that energy come off the page, come out of the video, come through in the podcast. They're going to feel that energy, and that kind of supersizes how they feel about you and how that positions you in the market in terms of trust and credibility. So you can do Facebook live shows, podcasts, webinar series, free courses, free membership sites. These are all very strategic things that help you to build a deeper and more trusting relationship with your audience. And, they're really great for premium brands offers where an immersive experience is critical to becoming a customer. So, a blog can sit on this list as well, or it can be just where you host all of your great content too. You can also have ebooks and e-guides and quizzes and polls and templates and mind maps, and a lot of this stuff's a bit more tactical, but it can be very shareable, and it can guide people to your deeper content online, which might sit behind an opt-in or a membership site or something like that. Now, I produce written content that I publish via my blog, and I've just started playing around with Facebook Live and doing a lot more video. So I recommend you choose one core format, like a blog, a podcast, or a video show, and you get really, really good at that, at producing it, but also at promoting it and maximizing its conversion. And then later on, you can start layering on other formats and other ways of reiterating it that make sense to that. So question number 5 is, where will you publish it? Now, this is where you're going to begin to maximize the scope and the scale of your content. So your blog is one place to host it, but now there's a plethora of other places online that you can host it as well and make it more shareable and more discoverable by a wider audience. So, mainly your social networks and other networking platforms. So you've got the obvious players like Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Medium, Huffington Post, but also specialist sites relevant to your category where you can guest blog or contribute your content. So, if you're into mindset, it might be Elephant Journal. There's a ton of specific niche platforms where thousands of people congregate daily to find out certain information in certain categories. And again, the list is potentially endless. It's limited to your ability to research and your imagination. So it all comes back to your audience objectives and knowing them really well. So you can also think of iterations of your core content that make it much more easily consumable on different platforms. So you might want to create a mini video about your e-guide for Facebook and YouTube. You might want to create a blog post out of your Facebook Live show, and you might create Instagram quote cards from your podcast show. So I hope you're getting the drift, like you can repurpose the same content for different platforms. And actually, iteration and relevance is really critical to your content marketing strategy. And I have to admit that being a one-woman show, a one-woman band, a one-woman business really at the moment, I've been really neglectful in this area when it comes to my own content, and my goal is to start getting a lot better at that in general. So in theory, I would love to consistently offer content upgrades on each blog post that drive people into my starter kit library. I'd love to turn my Facebook Live show into original blog posts instead of just pasting the show notes. I'd love to put some of my content on Medium and having it post in a much deeper, richer way that goes much deeper into the core issues that it's creating in society and in the way that we live and work. Yeah, there's tons of stuff I'd love to be doing, but don't shoot me. I'm a single business mother. So question number 6 was, how will you create, produce, and publish the content and manage the whole process so that it's really efficient, really effective all the time? This is your content production process or your content creation process. People call it different things. They might even call it a workflow. So this comes down to your processes and systems for creating your content and promoting it and analyzing it and maximizing its conversion. So personally, I'm really great at content production. Okay, where I'm less great or less active is when it comes to promoting it and analyzing its conversion and maximizing the conversion. So when I'm working in a corporate environment and I have a team of people to manage, it's much easier for me to be good at this because I can manage a team who can do the promotion and the conversion aspect of it. I just project manage, tell them what to do, make sure the high level strategy is being adhered to. But when I'm on my own, I prefer also to stick to the high-level strategy, and I'm not so good at the implementation. But anyway, that's my issue. I'll probably talk about it more in terms of like the realities of running your own business, some of which, 98% of which, are just not very much fun. But basically, there are 3 things that have to happen for your content to go from fruition to published, and from published to converting really well and helping you achieve your profit and impact goals. But we're going to talk more about this in the next few episodes. So the next episode is called Ninja Content Creation, the process and systems I use for my seamless blog content production. So question 7 was all about iteration. What is your iteration strategy? How are you going to iterate to maximize the scope and scale of your content? Now, it is something that we covered in a little bit of detail in episode 2 of this series, and I just mentioned it a moment ago as well. But it's really important to consider iteration, because rather than just producing tons of new content over and over again, which is what I've been doing for the last couple of years, you can produce content based on content you've already produced that is suited to different formats, platforms, and learning styles. So like my series, my content marketing series that you're watching, the blog post became this video. And now the video is becoming, or the video content is becoming, a workbook that's going in my starter kit library that is like a membership site, a free membership site online. So then it might even become a paid course called Content Marketing for Beginners. So there's so many different ways to iterate your content, to make content from content. So you're not constantly recreating the wheel, you're just iterating on what you've already created. So question number 8 was, how do you remove the threat of irrelevance? Now, this comes down to making sure that your content is always relevant. And again, it comes down to not just creating it and leaving it and forgetting about it and keeping it on your blog for years until it becomes so irrelevant that when people find it, they have no clue what you do because your content's so out of whack with your current offer. So it's always got to be, your content's always got to be relevant to you, to your business, to your work, and your current offers. So it's a good idea to schedule regular, Instagram, are you still there? It's a good idea to schedule regular time, for example, yearly. So this doesn't have to be something you do monthly, obviously, but yearly, to go back through all the content you've ever produced, to take a big picture view of how it sits together as a whole, and how it sits together as separate clusters or pillar content or pillar posts. And then you can delete, edit, rewrite, restructure, to suit where you're at right now and where you want your business to be in the future. Because where your stuff right now always has to match the vision of where you want to go. So if you've changed trajectory and you've moved from coaching into consulting, all your content then has to pivot towards this vision you have of being a consultancy firm. So that's your content marketing strategy in 8 simple questions. Who are you creating it for? What specific problems do you want your content to solve? What differentiates you from others in your category or niche? What format will help you achieve your content goals? Where will you publish it? How will you manage your content production workflow? How will you leverage the idea of iteration, producing content from content? And how will you remove the threat of irrelevance? So if you're ready to cultivate the core fiber of an entrepreneur, my goodness, so much talking and I can't talk anymore. Talking is really one of my strong points. So if you're ready to cultivate the core fiber of an entrepreneur, come over to thefreedomphilosophy.com and click on free stuff. I've got a resource library that's free for you called the Starter Kit, as well as the Thrive Formula if you've already started out and you're working 24/7 and you're feeling a bit overwhelmed by everything. So go on over to thefreedomphilosophy.com and sign up over there. Thank you so much for watching the show, and I will see you next time on Thriving Empire Live.